Hello, it's Sikamikanico, and welcome to episode 18 of the XboxEra podcast. I'm joined, as per usual, by Shpeshal Ed and Kaironaut. How's it going, guys?
It's good. It's going all right.
It's going
a little bit tired.
Yeah, I'm also experiencing way for work. And
a lot of things happened the last couple of weeks. Yeah.
It has been a busy couple of weeks. But we'll dive into it. We'll get there. What have you guys been playing? Anything exciting recently?
More Call of Duty.
More Call of Duty. Nah, I don't care about
Call of Duty. More.
I'll be honest.
Code Vein. I bought Code Vein last weekend during the sale, and it is really, really good. Really, really surprisingly good. I thought it'd be really bad, but it's actually pretty good. So
I'll be honest.
I recommend it to anyone who wants Dark Souls games.
We'll bear that in mind. But to be honest, I'm only really asking that question because what are you playing, Nick?
Yeah, well, I started playing. I was lucky enough to get a review code for Ori and the Will of the Wisps. So I've been playing that since Friday night. So that's why I'm tired. I've been up trying to smash the game out before the review embargo.
Yeah, review embargo.
Yeah, so because we got the code when we got it, the time was a bit limited. So been trying to smash that out, and I don't think I can say a lot at the moment because I think even impressions are embargoed.
If you were going to do an impression of Emperor Commodus in the smash hit movie Gladiator, where Russell Crowe's about to either kill or not kill. If you were to do the impression, give your thumb. Which way would your thumb go? If you would I'm not talking about Ori 2. I'm just talking about doing an impression of Emperor Commodus
of Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, of Joaquin Phoenix. How would you? Oh, okay, that'll do.
Yeah,
that'll do, Pig. I don't think the producers of Gladiator can get us into trouble over a thumbs up. So we'll have more to talk about. Ori, I'm going to say Ori 2 because it saves lots of words. On XboxEra in the coming week. But we had a bit of an interesting time last time we recorded the podcast because we recorded the podcast and then Phil Spencer thought...
Literally a day later.
I'm just going to write
a day later.
Yeah.
So absolutely bonkers.
It was good that some things were confirmed, finally. I think the only thing we kind of don't know that's being debated a bit is the RAM, how much and what it is. I mean, we know it's GDDR6. We know it's GDDR6, but we don't know how much.
Yeah.
The rumors have been, 16 all along. But aside from that, there was a lot of talk for a long time, and we'd mentioned it on this podcast before about GCN flops versus RDNA flops and all that crap. And,
the fact that anyone thought that the Series X was going to be anything less than, at the bare minimum, RDNA 1 was absolutely kidding themselves for the longest time. And everyone on the Xbox side knew it.
Yeah.
Even after... They said RDNA 2 in that blog post. There was some speculation that technically it wasn't RDNA 2. Technically, no. There was some reality to it. So something that I had heard a while back was that it would be RDNA 1 plus, which is like RDNA 1 with features from 2, sort of custom built into it or some crap like that. I don't have the technical nous to really explain it, but. Then after they said RDNA 2, that talk didn't go away. There was still a lot of that, it's RDNA 1 plus. But then AMD had their recent little conference call or whatever it was.
And they confirmed it.
Where
RDNA 2.
Confirmed RDNA 2, proper RDNA 2. Because I think a lot of people thought that RDNA 1 was on 7 nanometer and then RDNA 2 was on some other... 7 nanometer plus probably. Or something like that.
No, probably 7 nanometer plus.
Plus, and then it turns out that no, RDNA 2 is on 7 nanometer. I don't know, something like that. But either way, it's been confirmed to be RDNA 2 now. So
yeah. I don't think they did go into
whatever that means
of the actual clock of the CPU.
Well, it definitely means that we're going to be seeing a lot more modern technology in the box than we initially thought. Because at least RDNA 1 was modern in the sense that, I mean, RDNA 1 literally just came out last year. So
I was about to say, RDNA 2 basically doesn't exist in PCs right now, does it?
No.
No, not until the new cards this year from AMD.
Yeah.
Which is going to be rumored to be either, I think it's going to be Big Navi that comes out this year, which is like the big boy cars, like those stuff that's supposed to like compete with NVIDIA, alongside RDNA 2. But it does go to show that Microsoft is really trying to do whatever it takes to keep that power ground.
Yeah.
To be honest, like 100%.
I just like that these consoles are going to come out and not be hot garbage like day one compared to PCs.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's definitely a big deal. I mean, we've got variable rate shading, confirmed hardware accelerated ray tracing, multiple game quick resume, even if you reboot the console.
We had spoken about that, but the rebooting the console thing was new.
Yeah,
that's pretty unbelievable.
Full compatibility with the entirety of the Xbox One library, including 360 and Xbox original backwards compatibility games.
We knew that.
Smart delivery, so and straight off the bat, and it clearly shows that
straight leaping off the backwards compatibility stuff. Smart delivery, the ability to have an Xbox One version and a Series X version with upgrades on the Series X once the console releases for free. Cyberpunk is already confirmed to be taking advantage of that. That's got to be a great big surprise for the people who are looking forward to that game.
Yeah, I will say one thing.
They don't even have to fight for the new box.
With smart delivery, I can't remember if they said it or if I read it somewhere or something. I do believe publishers have the choice to charge for that upgrade.
Publishers have the choice whether or not to do it at all.
Yeah, I don't think.
I think they have. I think they have the choice. I think they've got the choice to charge for it. I think someone mentioned it on Twitter or something like that. Yeah, but what publisher would take the PR hit on that? Like none of them.
A lot of them. Activision, EA, they take it.
Activision would do it without a blink of an eye.
I guess Activision or EA would care. Yeah.
If you want your upgrades, you're gonna pay the money for the upgrades. They're not gonna hold it again, like hold a gun to your head and make you pay for it. No, they'll say you're gonna have to pay us $10 if you want these upgrades. And guess what? People are gonna have to pay $10. Like that's and that's just a bare minimum too. It could be more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
But it's good.
But CD Projekt Red, straight off the bat, were like, nah, won't have to pay for our one.
I love that.
Free upgrade.
They're going to be using smart delivery. And I think that's it. That's all we have for confirmed, right?
Yeah, I just love the fact that it feels just like, boom, there's a blog post. There you go. Everything you've been theorising about for months and months.
And I like...
Just there it is.
You see, I mean, did we want to put on the tinfoil hats about how CD Projekt Red said in that tweet, and you just get that upgrade when it's available, and it's like, well, hold on, when the upgrade's available, or when Series X is available, or
well, I put my cards on the table last episode, I think, and said that my guess was
September.
What did I say? September 14th.
We said September, yeah.
And that Cyberpunk tweet was kind of like, yep. I think end of September, but I think I said 14th last time.
I hope it's not. I don't want to be in Las Vegas when it comes out.
Yeah, we'll be like, bro, the console's amazing. How's you?
I don't want to be in Vegas when it comes out.
So that's
you want to be home with the box and your entertainment center ready to play.
Yeah.
And it's going to be one hell of a ride this fall, assuming, of course, coronavirus doesn't wreck it.
That's right. Yeah. Doesn't wreck it. Yeah.
I mean, speaking of coronavirus, didn't 2 MS employees get diagnosed with it?
Yep. I believe so. That's why they sent everyone home for 3 weeks. They announced the 3 weeks thing first, that they've sent everyone home for 3 weeks. And they've said, if you can work from home, work from home. And then they talked about the 2 coronavirus cases after that.
Yeah. I saw a post on Twitter from Microsoft, Satya Nadella. confirmed that for all of their sort of lower paid staff, so people like catering and site staff that do cleaning and cooking and other things like that, that Microsoft would be paying them their full-time wage regardless if they were not required to come into work. Because I know in the US it's different in the UK, but in the US, if in a lot of jobs, if you don't come in, you don't get paid. There is no sick leave pay or anything like that, right? So I thought that was a really nice forward-thinking approach from Microsoft to not screw over their employees because of something that's outside of their control. So kudos to Satya Nadella and team for that one. But the real question is, what does coronavirus, and we've talked about this a little bit before, but we're seeing more and more now, more events. GDC's been postponed, if memory serves now. So a lot of companies are doing.
I'm pretty sure GDC has just outright been cancelled.
Yeah, but they use the phrase.
They've said postponed officially.
Yeah.
But it makes you wonder now. Like from our perspective, we said on our Rumourmill, we've said before how there was supposed to be an Xbox thing in April, where Elden Ring was going to be shown. Like, I mean, I was told about that back in like November. So Corona hadn't blown up and was barely a thing back then. Like everything's sort of in flux now.
Yeah, it all feels very, very fluid.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen now? Like that could all come undone.
It could all come undone. But it's just a suck it and see. I think, certainly I know Microsoft had a bunch of stuff planned for GDC. They're pivoting to do online presentations and other ways of delivering content to game developers, which is cool that they're able to do that and they've got the resources to do that. But that's not going to be the case for every company.
No.
So, yeah, it really is a suck it and see kind of situation.
I mean, couldn't they do it as an inside Xbox? Minimal staff.
Yeah, that's what I figure. Is like if E3 gets cancelled.
No. I'm talking about the April show. I'm talking about the April event that we had been told about. Like I assume they were going to do it
you said it yourself earlier, right? A few episodes ago was Inside Xbox is officially gone.
No. I said it's unofficially gone. Like when was the last time they did one? It was like back in nearly 6 months ago.
It was XO 2019.
Like, because my thing is, obviously, the April show was probably intended to be like the Xbox One reveal. On campus, journalists and a few employees all in that little theatre and all that sort of stuff. Now, if all the journalists aren't going to be invited, if most of the staff have been sent home, why not just do it as an inside Xbox? So you just have minimal staff, deliver the main points, and that's it. I don't know.
It's an interesting one as well. I mean, I think that's entirely possible. But the other question here is E3, because I think what's going to happen this year is I don't think this coronavirus thing it may die down by that point, but it's not going away. And certainly the reaction to it has been one of extreme caution, perhaps. Even though I've done some travelling for work in the last sort of month. I've done two trips overseas. I'm starting to see from my employers, who are a US-based company, saying, here's our recommendations, here's our suggestions. They haven't outright said stop, but they've certainly said think about it if it's necessary, if you could do it another way. And if E3 rolls around, we've already know that E3 is in jeopardy, right? We've seen Sony pull out, we've seen other companies say, not really fast. And if it's forced upon some of these bigger companies like Microsoft and other publishers to do a direct from a Nintendo point of view, do a digital presentation with no overhead or multi-million-pound super duper all singing all dancing show, and then they suddenly realise the after effect of that is it cost us less money and it got just as much media buzz and attention as doing an actual hands-on. Maybe we'll just do this route in the future. So I would imagine the board of folks sitting at E3 are thinking, oh God, we're already in dire straits, and now this coronavirus, just the necessity for people to pull back from travel will probably have
a real
an impact.
Spanner.
Yeah,
I think the decline of E3 was just inevitable though, because like trade shows like that are just a dime a dozen. There's a million that happen every year. and everyone is as important for gaming as E3 is nowadays.
Yeah.
So
it did make it did make me giggle.
It's just a matter
bit.
of
what did Sony say? We're going to be at hundreds of consumer shows this year.
Oh yeah,
Name
hundreds
one.
of them.
Name one you're going to. Everything's cancelled. So yeah, I think both camps are probably pivoting and reconsidering how they're going to do things. But yeah.
God, and can you imagine so the rumor was that the PS5 had been delayed, right? Ever since they got whiff of the Xbox Series X's power at some point.
I think I think the rumor was that the original release date and target time frame of a PS5 release, and this rumor was 2019. And
so
then Microsoft are doing 2020.
You got to think the delay to accommodate for the Series X's power now is going to backfire on them because manufacturing is taking a huge hit thanks to coronavirus. So what if now, whatever milestone they were hoping to reach by delaying the launch of the console, well, now they can't even get it because manufacturing doesn't exist to provide it for them, you know?
That's the other side of the coin. You're absolutely
right. What happens then? Was the delay for the rumored delay for PS5 even worth anything if the console still comes out as underpowered as it is rumored to be? You know what I mean? As it was rumored to need the delay to fix. You know?
I think what we'll probably see is if console production is impacted, it certainly seems like despite all of the Kotakus in the world saying, "Oh, we're not hearing much out of the Microsoft camp. You know, maybe they're not as well organized." That situation has changed. And I think they might be a little bit more ahead of schedule than everyone thought. Because obviously employees themselves, like Phil has said, I've got my Series X prototype, my take-home test unit sitting there in front of me. I think if it does have an impact, it will be in quantity. I think they'll still release, but the quantity will be limited comparatively to, your full fat release. I just hope we don't have tier 2 and tier 3 countries again.
A Nintendo-style limited run.
Yeah,
very Nintendo style.
God,
create that
awful.
Artificial demand.
Yeah. So yeah, and also Ed, from your perspective, I know the April event, I think is rumored. We heard that was it Elden Ring was kind of Microsoft saying, don't show gameplay yet until we want to do the reveal.
Till the Series X reveal, yeah.
Is that going to have an impact if it's not a media presentation? If it's just a direct, guess we'll find out. Yeah, it's interesting stuff.
But in a year full of delays and shut down conferences, at least one thing is still on schedule, right? Ori, in a couple weeks.
Not even a couple of weeks.
It's like next
3
week,
days.
right?
3 days.
It's like a few
3
days.
days. Oh, yeah.
It's
wow.
like Wednesday.
Dang. I was way off then. Okay.
I mean, Ori already did get delayed 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. But I'm so looking forward to seeing
I don't think the delay. I don't think a delay is going to happen anymore.
No.
I think we're good to go.
We're good to
go. It certainly won't happen now, no matter what. But yeah.
It's coming out regardless. And I really hope, because Moon, we've had Thomas on this podcast, and Moon Studios really, really prides themselves on, excellent gameplay, excellent response time, excellent everything. And I really, really hope that studio is recognised and that they get all of the critical acclaim that they're going to deserve. Haven't played it yet. Might be rubbish. Don't think it's going to be. I have zero concerns about the game, being a pile of crap or anything like that. I absolutely can't wait to dive in and get lost in that little world for a while longer.
I don't think it would be speaking out of turn to say that I don't think there's any worries about the game being a piece of crap. I mean, even if they re-released original Ori and rebranded it Will of the Wisps, it would still be a good game in and of itself.
Yeah.
So, no, it's fine.
I love how refreshing this year feels. Like, there's so much Microsoft-driven first-party content coming. I mean, we've got the second Bleeding Edge closed beta coming.
Oh, is there another one?
There's another closed beta. I can't remember the date.
Before release.
Which is terrible.
Because the game comes out like next month, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I have a feeling the next closed beta is actually next weekend. Someone will probably correct me, but the game comes out on the 24th. And I've heard nothing but really surprisingly positive feedback. I know that it's probably come in a little understated, and people were like, "Nah," but I think it's going to find its niche, and I think there's going to be a decent population there that really enjoys that game.
I like that.
There'll be a dedicated group of players that'll find that game and be happy with it, and I'm glad it's on Game Pass, so at least Ninja Theory doesn't have to worry about making back that money, entirely. And is able to cultivate an audience, like you said. But with the upcoming release of... I know they're not entirely games in the same genres, but Riot did announce League of Legends Wild Rift, which is coming to consoles and mobile. That's going to be wildly popular, regardless of what anyone thinks, because it's League of Legends.
And League of Legends, they announced their shooter.
Yeah, they announced Project A, which is coming out as Valorant, which looks absolutely phenomenal on PC. Very Overwatch. I like.
Well, I don't know. Online, all I read is people saying it looks like crap. as in visually looks like crap.
Yeah, but people okay, the game is cartoony. Who cares? At the same time, the reason why it might look like crap is because Riot is really known for making games that can run on literal toasters. They promise something along the lines of min spec is able to get 720p 120 FPS, I think.
Okay.
I think
that's just min spec. From
a development perspective, I think you'll see more and more games that are cross-platform, accessible, available to lots of devices, all in one big pool of players. Those games will not be pushing the forefront of graphics because their whole purpose is to build a consistently large
get as many
population,
as many people as they can on one game. Yeah,
Fortnite.
Outside the graphics. I mean, I like how crisp and clean the graphics are. They're cartoony, yes. But I don't understand the whole. Yeah, it looks like shit. It doesn't. It's whatever. But everything about the gameplay that they've shown really appeals to me. Something as wow, they're really going for a pretty different direction than most tactical shooters. I mean, they're going a very Counter-Strike direction. I'm not gonna say it's not heavily inspired by Counter-Strike because it is. Even the fundamental game mode, the core game mode is basically CS's bombs. The buy weapons every round. If you die, you lose the weapon and have to rebuy it with kills. All that stuff is pure Counter-Strike. But the abilities that those characters have, the crispness of the graphics, just the potential for something not entirely different, but unique enough that it can make an impact in that field. I'm really happy about that. I'm just disappointed that Riot only announced it for PC right now, and that a console release isn't in the future. Isn't in the immediate future, which I think is kind of disappointing considering Overwatch captured the console audience pretty quickly.
Gameplay is king.
Exactly, and console audiences, honestly, I think, at least in my opinion, have been hungering for an experience like CSGO, the competitive shooter audience on console. But we're never going to get CSGO on console because Valve doesn't make console ports anymore. So rip the dream, I guess. Yeah. But if Riot can get Valorant to run on console, don't include crossplay unless it's between controllers. But especially for a game like that where precision is everything. Yeah. But I would like to see Valorant on consoles, if only to fill the gap that CSGO kind of just left behind and let Rainbow Six Siege and Overwatch take.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So I guess the next question is, hey, Ed, do we have a rumour mill this week?
Oh, we're going there already?
We're going there already, baby. We're there.
Okay.
We've arrived.
Well, the rumour mill's a little bit interesting because we don't know if E3 is going to happen. So the rumor mill is around Microsoft's E3, and all that I've been told is that Microsoft does plan to go pretty big this year. I know that's not like groundbreaking news or anything, but what the question that was asked of me was, what did you think of Sony's E3 2016? And I
was that
like,
the E3 of Dreams?
No, that was 2015. But I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, well,
2016?
Sony announced a lot of games or showed a lot of games that were years away from actually coming out.
Hang on, wasn't that when Ghost of Tsushima?
I think God of War was shown, Spider-Man was shown, but basically they were alluding to the fact that Microsoft's going to sort of break their own rule.
Yeah.
And announce games that are at least a couple of years away, which they said they wouldn't do, but they're going to. So from that, I'm led to believe that's why we might see Fable, Perfect Dark, just everything that's coming in those first 2 or 3 years. I reckon we're probably going to hear about at E3 again, if E3 happens or whatever. I don't know, but
whatever takes place around that June timeframe, we'll see lots of cool stuff that might be a little while out compared to normal.
Yeah,
that's
good. I think they're going to break their own rule.
Yeah. I think it's because they, instead of relying on a third party partnership via global publishing, that they've got an internal team, set studios now 15, that they're very confident in. And I think they're pretty bullish. I love this. What's the phrase I've often heard used? Like, hungry Microsoft is best Microsoft. Like, when they're going for it, they go for it big, and I love that. I love that when it happens. It's great for us as gamers. It's great for the platform. It's great for the communities. It's all good stuff.
I guess the other thing that's not really part of my rumor mill, like it's not something I've been told or anything, but we've been seeing it around. We've seen it on Twitter, Tim Dog, and we've seen like others. We've seen it on Resetera, like the rumors that we may see Lockhart this week.
Yep.
There was word that it might get mentioned at AMD's thing, but then that never happened. So it's now moved to, hey, we might hear about Lockhart this week.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I believe that is accurate, and I know a little bit more, but I won't say what it is, because I think the surprise should be pretty cool.
Okay.
So, and that's only because
they're doing everything differently. Like, they're doing stuff differently all the time. So, I feel like that started before Series X. Like, the One X was revealed more officially via Digital Foundry.
Yeah.
So they let Digital Foundry have the exclusive and said, hey, here's the One X, talk all about it. Here's the insides, here's everything going on. Yeah. You guys talk about it.
Yeah. It's interesting though, because Lockhart isn't for us. This is the mass consumption device. So I'm curious as to what methodology. Is it going to be like the Game Awards trailer? Is it going to be another blog post? Just boom, there you go, guys. Have a nice week. We don't know.
It'd be cool if at least the GPU on Lockhart was maybe just half as powerful as the 12 teraflops we're getting on the Series X
instead of the rumored 4.
6 instead of 4.
Well, I mean, because honestly, the rumblings are that it's 4. The rumblings are that it's 4.
I know the rumblings are that it's 4, but 4 still seems pretty lowballing.
Yeah, but you're talking. It's not just the 4, right? So I mean, we obviously have 4 on the newer architecture, but it's not just the 4. It's on the better CPU. It's the SSD. It's all of it combined. Like I'm sure it'll be more powerful than the One X. I mean, it has to be, surely. I think people need to look a little bit deeper than just the 4 teraflops.
Yeah,
I think it goes a bit beyond.
The teraflop number is it's interesting, and they dug themselves a little bit hole because teraflops was such a huge focus for the previous gen. The key facts I would bear in mind is this: is Xbox One X was specifically made, and I think the language they used would run existing, technology-driven Xbox One games at 4K, but not at 60, at 30, It would take all of those games that use, a resolution slider that can peak and trough depending upon hitting a frame rate. It would take those and just max them all out. And that's what it was designed to do, and it does that very, very well. But what we're dealing with now is a Series X console that is designed to deliver full native at higher frame rates all of the time with all of the modern technologies that come with it. The 4 teraflops is it's a 1080p console, or maybe 1440p at most, right? And that's the difference. So I wouldn't expect them to go into detail on that number, like the number 4, but more about who the console is for, why it exists, and obviously it's going to be cheaper.
You know what they might say? Because for all intents and purposes, Lockhart, whatever it is a 1080p capped Series X. For all intents and purposes. Like, the idea is that the games will look all the same, just at 1080 as opposed to 4K.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, if that's the case, that's fine. That's like completely okay.
Yeah, I
don't know.
My monitor, while it is a 32:9, is a 1080p monitor. I've got my 4K TV up here, and that's great. But certainly for competitive games, resolution isn't what's important, it's performance. And if you can get a performant 1080p image that runs at 60 or 100 or all of those bells and whistles, Yep. And I mean, it's very likely for me, certainly from a personal point of view, I'd probably pick up both. I'd have a Series X for this room, for my main gaming, and then if I want to chill out in my living room with my kids, I'll have a Series S or Lockhart, whatever it's called, my kind of... Yeah, it's just like the kids can play on it, and it's got the 4K Blu-ray drive, and it's got all the blah, 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 blah. I can still play all my games across them both, and it will just work. That's fine.
For me, it'll come down to the media capabilities. The reason I've got multiple 1Ss is because of what a brilliant media player the 1S is. So they said that all our accessories will work. Does that also apply to the TV tuner for Xbox One?
No, I don't think it does.
I know HDMI
one guide's going away, so
yeah, this console is not having any of the TV stuff.
So they confirmed like a little bit ago that a system update was pushed out specific to the Xbox One media remote. Remember that tiny little thing? Where you can now reprogram the one guide button. You can reprogram the one guide button to anything, which to me indicates one guide's going away. It was a failed experiment that no one really uses to any extent. So
yeah, but that doesn't mean one guide's already technically gone, but you can still watch your free-to-air TV through the tuner. One guide
uses one guide. One guide is tied into the TV app, which is what the tuner ties into. They're inseparable.
Right. I don't think they'll get rid of. I don't think they'll get rid of one guide completely. Same way, I don't know if they'll get rid of Connect.
No, there's no HDMI in on the new consoles.
No, that I knew. That part I knew. But as long as all the rest of it is intact, then I may get Lockharts as the media players. Yeah. But it depends on what they can do.
I love the fact though that unlike previous generations where we had to wait for our Netflix apps and our Plex apps and our whatever, Crunchyroll, whatever you're into,
they're all there.
They're all just going to be backwards compatible, right? So I'm really happy about that. Can you guys see the God rays coming in through my back window right now? It looks like there's a nuclear blast.
That is really bright. Jesus.
Classic. It's a nice spring morning here in sunny UK. It's better than rain. So it's interesting, and it's exciting as well. This is like one of the best years, I think, in gaming. I think we're going to see so many realised ideas and potential things coming. It's super, super cool.
Knowing our luck. So last episode, they revealed more details about the Series X straight after we were done. That's going to happen again, don't you?
Yeah.
First thing tomorrow morning.
Yep, boom.
First thing tomorrow morning, you're going to see this story somewhere. Here's Lockhart, Xbox. Yeah. Actually, while we're talking about it, everyone just calls it the Series S. I don't think it's going to be called the Series S.
You don't?
Like, yeah, well, why? Like, to me, S, the letter S with Xbox consoles has always alluded to a smaller version. So there was the original Xbox controller S, the smaller controller.
Yeah.
There was the 360S, the slimmer Xbox 360. Xbox One S, smaller Xbox One. Why would it be called the Series S? Because it's not about being smaller. It's a completely different model.
They'll do Xbox Series E, like the E model.
E's the other.
That's
other
what I think.
letter.
I think it'll be E for entry level, or it might be D for digital if it doesn't have the disk drive. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be the Series S, because I always thought S was used to denote the smaller version of something that exists.
Yeah.
The smaller version of the same thing. So when they eventually do the slim of the Series X, they will probably call that the XS. Yeah. Is my assumption.
Maybe. I think that's a fair guess. Hey, we'll hopefully find out this week, right? So this week in game magazines, we'll find out what's going on.
Or maybe they gave it over to Wired.
That's Sony's domain.
To try and cut their lunch.
Yeah, God knows. That's crazy. It's a crazy time. Anything can happen. Yeah, so it's definitely an exciting time. And look, if the reveal drops and they come in and talk about it, we'll see if we can get together and organise something midweek and throw up an emergency. Let's discuss this element podcast. Even if it's just a couple of us, we'll see what we can do on that front, because time zones are a bitch, yo. But yeah, so it's an interesting one. I think it might be time for some community questions. Yeah, I really want a jingle. I want to be able to press a button and be like some really cheesy.
Look, I still think we can probably use that MP3 that I cut. It's like literally 4 seconds. Like, surely that's not going to get in trouble.
Who knows?
Would it?
I don't know.
Do I need to contact the record label and say, hey, this is what's going on?
It's all AI driven, man. They'll just detect it and be like, boom. DMCA takedown or whatever it is.
I might get in. I need to find out who holds the rights for Bananarama's music and get in contact with them and see if we can get permission. I need to work something out.
So we'll hit up Twitter first. Ed, I think you've got Discord loaded. So on Twitter, we throw a shout out every week. And my God, this sun.
Yep. Oh Jesus! Yeah, that's full on.
If you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, obviously you can't see the blinding sunlight that I am now being bleached with. Apologies to our YouTube viewers for Mother Nature and the lack of a curtain in this room.
Actually, can I take the first Twitter question?
Yeah, go for it.
There's a reason why, because the person who's asked the first Twitter question is a friend of mine. I actually used to listen to an Xbox podcast called Xbox Uncut. And this gentleman was part of that podcast. His name is Will. He's the Winter Shoulder on Twitter. And he's asked a question. He says, love the podcast. Thanks, Will. Does Xbox Game Studios have a good chance at competing with Sony Studios next generation? Sony's produced amazing games, and I want to see at least some Xbox studios attempt the same level of visuals, ambition, and story outside of Halo, Gears, and Forza. End of this gen is a bummer. Simple answer is yep. I reckon they will. We've sort of spoken a bit about the studios that we think will do really well. Like I don't have a hell of a lot of faith in Coalition and 343 after everything that's gone on this generation, but Ninja Theory, I remain bullish on. Ninja Theory with Microsoft's money could be absolutely anything. I think they could easily rival Naughty Dog with those resources behind them. Playground, we know how good Playground are. They can only get better. Who else? Obsidian, I think. You saw a little bit of a hint with Outer Worlds, what they can do with, same with South Park Stick of Truth. Like, you've seen what Obsidian can do when they've got big publisher money. So I think with with Microsoft's resources, with all that cross-pollination between those first-party studios, I think Obsidian is another one that could do big things.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that list. I think if you're approaching it from a graphical prowess standpoint, because there's two arguments to be had here. I've said it before, I'll say it again, gameplay is king, but I understand that a lot of folks want gameplay with outstanding presentation, right? We know that the Forza team and Playground, they've got their presentations nailed, like they are amazing looking games. We know that let's talk about 343 for a second. Halo 4 at the time was phenomenal changes from a graphical presentation comparatively to Reach or Halo 3. But I think perhaps their move to 60 FPS from a gameplay is king perspective was the right one, but it certainly hindered their ability to have that graphical crown.
Especially on the hardware. On piss weak hardware,
It just the hardware was not able to really fully realise that vision. We've seen the Halo Infinite second trailer. That certainly from all perspectives looks to be the beginning of the game, and if it looks like that, damn,
that's good.
So but yeah, and Hellblade 2, that trailer, if that's visually what we can expect or something to that degree, and I know
I think it might be. I think it might be close.
I think it's going to be close. I think people are going to be surprised. And I think, like I've said, Microsoft are confident. They're exuding confidence right now, and it's coming across in every way, in the way they communicate, in the way they present their games. And the one thing I've noticed, right, and it's just a little tidbit, I always thought that Microsoft previous gens when they would show off their games, it would be like to a kind of like what's the phrase I'm looking like, a really upbeat kind of modern soundtrack, and it would be like, boom, here's the game, like. But if you notice, the last few times they've appeared, it was Xbox Game Studios presents, very Sony style, very understated, like a movie. Here's our game. Because I think that resonates with people a little bit more. It's like, games are an art form. Let's lean into that. So yes, I definitely think we'll see Microsoft kicking butt and taking names this gen. That's not to take away anything from the existing Sony studios, because they're fantastic, and there's no denying that in the industry. They're really good at what they do. Good question.
Yep. They're really good at sad dad
sad dad games. We shall see. Craven
Unsung
God.
Hero? Oh, there was another one?
Yeah,
okay.
Craven God has asked, so at Craven God, do we think, and this kind of leans on the same thing, so I guess it's the same answer, do we think Series X games will set the bar graphically and technically? Will Xbox have their God of War Horizon moment? Yes,
well, I mean,
to the graphical, in terms of... But this is the thing, graphics are a combination of art, engineering, programming, as well as just resolution and textures and all of that sort of thing. So that's a really
tough moment.
I mean, I don't know.
The only tangible thing we have now is Hellblade. Hellblade's the only tangible benchmark or goalpost that we have at the moment. So based on that, hard to say that they won't have that God of War moment. Like Hellblade looks like it could be that game already, like very early on. It's like, whoa, just blows people away. Who knows?
I don't know. I don't know about that Horizon comparison there. I mean, at best, Horizon looks like a slightly souped up BioWare game. So
send hate mail to Kaironaut at XboxEra.com.
We didn't say that. We didn't say that.
Yeah, they didn't say that. I said that. I mean, come on. Like most of the time when people say like, "Oh, Horizon Zero Dawn has some of the best graphics in gaming," and it's like they show GIFs that are clearly doctored to make them look amazing.
Don't get me wrong.
We've had this discussion on Era multiple times about these GIFs too, because every single time it comes up, it's always the same GIFs. And it's always in comparison to Microsoft exclusives saying, well, why can't they be like Horizon Zero Dawn and how good they look? It's like, no, I've played Horizon Zero Dawn, and that game looks like a souped-up BioWare game. I'm sorry.
It is a really, really good-looking game. The only part, and this might be where your BioWare thing comes into it, the only part that I found odd playing Horizon was just the facial animations.
The facial animations on that game are just awful.
We're a little bit weird.
And that
aside from that, yeah.
And the whole like use of BioWare's trick with like shifting camera angles like dynamically in conversations where it's just always centered on a face that never looks natural. Never looks natural. And it's I can't.
I haven't played. I've bought and downloaded, but haven't played Frozen Wilds, the DLC for Horizon. Allegedly, they improved a lot of the facial stuff in that, but I haven't played it yet to confirm.
Yeah.
But I do think, like the Tomb Raider games, if they could find a way to get Horizon, like if the PS5 could maybe improve PS4 games a little bit, hopefully, or even if the PS5 can have a sequel at 60,
that's about as much as you're going to get.
I think the game would improve a lot visually, even more so at 60. Like those Tomb Raider games, I don't know what it is about 60 and what it does, but man, when you play that game, it looks better too. So good.
One last thing I'll say with regards to the second part of that question from Craven God, will Xbox have their God of War Horizon moment? I won't use those games as a comparison. I do think that they will have their Breath of the Wild moment. But we'll see. We'll see what happens end of this year. Next question from @Hypernova474. What do we think the optimal price would be for Lockhart Series S? What do we think it would be? Where do we think it would land?
Are we keeping our figure realistic?
Yes, let's keep our figure realistic. I think 349.
299.
You think
299, 499? Yeah.
99.
I think anything higher than 299 and Lockhart is dead in the water.
Yeah.
That's what I reckon. Anything higher than 299. Like only because of the 2 SKU strategy. Like I just think, but again, it's all going to depend on the PS5. It's going to depend on the Series X. So if the PS5 came in at 499 and the Series X came in at 599, let's just say, then you can get away with 349. You can get away with 349 on Lockhart because you're a whole $150 less than the PS5.
True.
If the PS5 and the Series X are 499 somehow, you can't have Lockhart at 399 or even 349 because for an extra $150, you're going to be like, man, I'm going to jump from 4 teraflop to 12.
Yeah,
that's worth the $150.
True.
Like you can't. Yeah.
What if the Xbox Series X comes in at 499, the PlayStation 5 comes in at 399? Then also Lockhart really can't be 349 if it
has to be 299. I just think it's 299 regardless. Even if they have to take a hit, it's got to be 299.
Even assuming that like PS5 comes in at 9.2 teraflops, right? Let's just assume that as a baseline. So for $100 more at 299, you can get a hypothetical 399 PS5 with 5 teraflops more of power, right? For $100 upgrade, why not just get the PS5 then? Why not?
So then, what price do you suggest then?
No, I'm not suggesting a price decrease. I'm suggesting the Lockhart comes in at 6 teraflops, so the difference isn't that big.
So you want a power increase rather than a price difference?
I don't think it's going to. I think it is going to be 4, which means that
they can afford to sell the Xbox One X at $299. They can sell a Series S at $299 with 6 teraflops.
I will say this.
I'm just saying that I don't think it's going to be 6. That's all.
Yeah, I will say this. I think one thing you have to bear in mind is Phil's comment won't be put out on price or power, right? But that is, I think, more leaning in towards not the price of the Series X and the power of the Series X, but the fact that they've got 2 variants of console hardware. So they're catering for both markets. But I also think, and I've said this before, the days of selling at a loss, using the war chest and cutting your price down to beat your competitors is over. All right, they like to be at least break even or profitable from day one.
I think the ideal scenario for Microsoft is Sony coming in at $499 because then that opens the door for Microsoft to do. They can just go, you know what? We'll go $599 because it's only $100 more, and that's offset. You know, we can really push to people that we're $100 more, but we can give you Game Pass for a year, so you don't have to buy any games. And then Lockhart just sneaks on in at $299, so you capture basically 100% of the low end because it's $200 less than the PS5.
Yeah, it would be very cool.
Yeah, that from Microsoft's perspective, a $499 PS5 would be ideal, regardless of its teraflop number. I'm talking strictly now the price, because there were the stupid rumors about Sony going with a two SKU strategy all of a sudden, but I don't think that's happening.
Not that quickly.
That would be the ideal scenario for Microsoft. If Sony comes in at $399, then it becomes a bit trickier.
Yeah.
It just depends.
Then we've got 2 questions actually from Rise of Krios. So question 1 from this person is: do we think that Microsoft will combine the Xbox, xCloud, and Game Pass applications, the phone apps, the desktop apps, whatever, into one singular Xbox application, or will they keep them separate?
Well, we've actually chatted about this in the Discord before. Most seem to believe that they'll keep them separate. But I don't know, like I was using the Game Pass app again the other day, and it's so much better to use than the Xbox app. Like, the difference is night and day. Like, it's faster, it's smoother, it's more reliable.
Yeah, because there's less stuff there.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, though, they've been adding stuff to it, and it's not affecting the app. So they added the ability. Like, I don't know how in depth you've used that app, but did you know that the Game Pass app can actually see what's installed on your Xbox?
Yeah, I've played around with it.
It can literally see what's installed on your Xbox, and you can manage it from that app. Like, they're finding ways to add really cool features to it, and it's not affecting the performance of the app. So my suspicion is, at least what I'd like, is that the Game Pass app just takes over. So add the friends list stuff to it, add whatever else is important, and just do it all from the Game Pass app. Because that original Xbox app is still terrible. It's just garbage. That
I
app.
have a slightly different, because I use obviously what I call the Xbox app now on PC, replaced what I think you're calling the Xbox app, which is now named the Console Companion app.
Oh no, I'm talking about on phone. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So it's the same app from your perspective. Yeah, it's the same app. Yeah. So I do think though that we know that there's a desire to link xCloud and Game Pass together. From a cost perspective, like how they're going to charge for xCloud, I think it's going to roll into your Game Pass Ultimate subscription. So I certainly see a combining of those worlds from an application point of view. It just makes sense, because then you're not asking your consumers to have and juggle 3 different apps. If you can have one well-designed app that does all of the different things and hits all of the beats, it makes more sense, because you're more likely to have a place on a consumer's phone than 3 places on a consumer's phone.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Leading on from that question, they have also asked, we now know about the Xbox Series X hardware. What do we think Microsoft will change fundamentally about Xbox Live? So what features will they add or change in Live, that platform, that might change the way we play or interact on Xbox?
Well, I don't know if Xbox Live per se will change at all. Like, I mean, I don't know. We say Xbox Live. What even is Xbox Live anymore? Like,
let's look at it from a feature set, right? So this gen they've added looking for group. They've added community groups or whatever it is, where you could be an admin. Clubs. Clubs. Don't know.
Yeah, the clubs.
Don't think anyone uses it.
Nope.
Parties. They updated the codec for the voice thingy to match Skype's one, which is obviously what we're using.
I do
miss
beacons. I miss beacons. I thought beacons were good.
Beacons, yeah.
I know beacons became looking for group, basically. But I don't know, I like the beacons. Like, I wish they'd bring them back. Like, I like that on 360, you'd be playing a game, a friend would come online and play the game you've set as a beacon, and it would pop up with a prompt and say, "Hey, Sikamikanico's playing Rocket League or Daytona USA," and then you'd be like, "Oh, cool, I'll play it too." And like I like that. I thought that was really cool the way they did it.
Yeah, I don't know from a feature set. I don't know what else because that's the thing. You've got to think about something that doesn't yet exist, and I think they've ticked a lot of their boxes. And I think that the way that
doesn't exist.
The way they've approached the development of their environment this gen has been, what boxes can we tick? And I think we're going to be getting all of that from day one in the new generation. Unlike a reset where we had, all those features are gone, we need to do them again, or they're broken.
Yeah. I think honestly, like, they should probably start, at least in my feature wish list, more collaboration with Discord would be nice. It'd be cool to see like a Discord native app, maybe even open up an API to allow third-party tools to connect with Xbox Live's party system, so you could use it in place of the party system itself. So like if I wanted to hop into a Discord voice chat, I wouldn't have to go on my phone, right? I can just open it up on Xbox Live on my Xbox, just like any other Xbox system app, and be able to party up in VC on any server I'm connected to from there.
I wonder how feasible that is, though.
It's all ports and networking. It's all doable, I guess.
And they added tournaments as well this generation too, didn't they?
Then they didn't do anything with them.
Yeah, the tournaments came, but nothing came of it, did it?
Yeah.
So, I'll tell you what I do think, though. I don't know if it will fundamentally change the way we play, but I am bullish as all hell. Like, I am dead certain in my assertions the whole Xbox Live Gold multiplayer paywall will die at E3 this year. 100% certain.
Has to.
If I'm wrong, I will do something stupid on stream. I don't know. I'll think of something. Like I'm open to suggestions.
They can't keep it. They can't keep it.
They're two worlds. PCs, everything's free. Xbox, you got to pay. It's just not going to fly anymore, and they know it.
You can't.
Game Pass is the cash cow now.
You can't be trying to merge those worlds as hard as they are, but then still expect the console players to pay. Like, again, we've said this so many times. We sound like broken records. They are converting everyone's gold for a reason. There is a reason they're converting them all over to Game Pass Ultimate. That's because
John's becoming a ghost.
How is there
getting better,
you can put in front of that window?
It's got worse.
How is there nothing?
It's time to find a sheet to put on that window.
There's got to be something you can put in front of that window.
It was getting better. I think there was some cloud cover that came in, but we'll hope for some more cloud. The last question on Twitter,
or hope for a sheet,
was which Xbox game studios do we think we will see game reveals from this year?
Fable,
Ninja Theory,
Ninja
Playground.
Theory, Obsidian might get their tease for Chris Sawyer's game. Turn 10. In Exile, we'll be doing, because Wasteland 3 comes out, I think,
Initiative.
In May. So we're probably going to see in Exile's next game. Initiative, we're going to start seeing something from them. I think everyone.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see.
Who we haven't heard from since they were acquired? We've heard nothing about what they're doing. We've heard nothing about how they're hiring. Is Compulsion. We have heard nothing about them. So I'm really curious as to what they are doing, because I still to this day remember that very, 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 very first trailer for We Happy Few.
Yeah.
And man, the BioShock vibes that came from that trailer,
they were high.
If they can make a BioShock type game, that'd be really cool. I reckon.
Agreed.
I love
curious.
BioShock.
Looking forward to seeing what they come up with. Yeah, definitely good stuff. Do you want to switch over what we got in the Discord?
In the Discord, not a lot question wise.
We talk to them so much.
Yeah, we do. There was one of the main questions. So from Proven, Proven is asking if we're fans of Fable, which is our favorite and what do we want Playground doing with Fable? So, I personally don't mind Fable. I'm not like a super fan or anything. I thought the game was fine. I
have no idea what to think of him.
I've only played the first game properly. The second one I didn't really play, and the third one I dipped my toe in. So the first one's the only frame of reference I have.
So I finished. The only Fable game I played was 3.
Wow, the worst one.
Okay.
I've played all of them.
Allegedly, yeah.
I've played all of them. A huge fan of the series because it's very, very British in its humour and its style. So I was enormously hyped to hear that a British developer was taking the reins. And as I understand it, a number of ex-Lionhead devs have wound up at Playground that know the world. So I hope
that'd be good.
I hope that the identity of the game is kept, but I'm also not 16 anymore. I wouldn't mind some more serious undertones to the game.
You want it? So
not
what
sad
you're saying,
dad.
John, is you want it to be a sad dad, right? You want it to be sad.
No,
dad,
I don't want
right?
it to be a sad dad. I want it to. Fable was wonderful because it literally leaned into every kind of mythological kind of creature and kind of fantasy presentation you could possibly see, and it was just a wonderful little world to go and visit. But it was plagued with poor performance and grand ideas that never came to fruition. So really imaginative.
Saying
the
it was
graphics,
played with modeling you, right?
Yeah, the graphics were never great.
Look,
but go on.
I was going to say, CD Projekt Red are obviously balls deep in Cyberpunk. And so The Witcher, because you keep saying sad dad. Is there a reason Fable couldn't be a Witcher clone? Or an attempt?
I don't want it to be a Witcher
clone.
clone.
3 had terrible combat before the update, so I don't think I want...
I'm not saying copy the combat. I'm just saying in terms of its themes, in terms of its world, in terms of its...
Well, I couldn't
Witcher
tell you
is
that
fantasy.
I didn't finish Witcher 3.
Witcher is fantasy, so...
Witcher's a little too serious. And here's the thing, right? I'm not ashamed to admit this. RPGs are not my forte because they require an inordinate amount of time and effort.
Investment.
Fable as a series was traditionally very, very, very accessible. To the point where
it's a bit more Zelda.
It's a bit more Zelda, and it got to the point where it was like, combat got down to like one button and it was just mindless. I don't want it to go that far again. I like a little challenge, and they had like, oh, you don't know where to go. Here's a breadcrumb trail that you can follow constantly that tells you where to go and what to do.
Yeah.
And I don't want that, but I do want a world that feels lived in and realised, that pays homage to Albion and what came before, but isn't afraid to change things up and make it a little bit more exciting. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they reveal. I love co-op in my games, so whilst I'm fine with it being a single-player RPG, they always traditionally were. 2 and 3 did have some forms of multiplayer. I think 2 you had little baubles of people you could interact with that were floating around the world, and I think 3 you could actually bring someone in as a companion, but they didn't have any impact on your world. And I like things. I like to be able to play a game together and not have to, let's do my world and then we'll go and play your game and do your world. So I'm just keen to see what they're bringing to the table. I'm absolutely hyped to see it. It's really going to be fun.
So Proven, in summary, we want Fable to be somewhere between Zelda and The Witcher.
Yeah.
Possibly with co-op.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what we want Fable to be.
And still keep its British sense of humour and fun.
I'm really reminded of that Itchy and Scratchy episode.
Yeah, let's bring
where the head of Itchy and Scratchy just cracked it at the kids and says, "You don't know what you want."
Yeah, fundamentally true. I'll be keen to see what they're going to show. That's a good one. What else have we got from Discord?
I think in terms of actual legitimate serious questions, I think that was it. I know there's a bunch of stuff. I mean, I know BSIG. Now, I assume this is a serious question. It links on to Fable.
Yeah.
BSIG has asked, should Peter Molyneux be brought back for Fable 4? and which idea he proposed implemented for Fable was your favorite?
No.
First part, nope. I wouldn't be bringing Peter back.
Yeah.
In terms of his ideas, yeah, why not flesh out? Why not realize now that we've got hardware that can probably achieve that? Maybe, yeah, get some of his ideas in there.
I wouldn't mind the dog coming back. I'm not a dog person, but it was cool to have a kind of like a buddy companion that comes around with you in the world. One idea I think they should absolutely do, and I would be very surprised if they didn't, was one of the biggest things he always said was back on the OG Xbox version, you can plant an acorn and it will grow into a real oak tree over time.
It grows into a tree.
I guarantee you, if they're on the ball, they'll put an element in the game where you plant a tree and then you come back 10 years later and it's grown.
Basically,
just as a nod.
Look, basically what Peter wanted was that for you to be able to, like, for the world to be, I guess, what's the word I'm after? From what I remember of the things Peter used to say in interviews, he basically had a dream where the world would effectively be real and you could leave your mark on it and have an impact on it. So it's not just about the tree growing. It's about, you might leave a mark on a person. You have a conversation with a person and, they remember it and it has an effect on them later in life or stuff like that. Like effectively, it's about leaving your impact and your mark on the world of Albion or whatever world they're going to go with. I don't see why that shouldn't be possible, especially if they try and rein in the scale of the game. But
I do hope they bring up the, whether you're good or bad, your character, your visuals change. But I really want a real in-depth character creation tool where we can.
It's cool to have scars from big battles and stuff like that.
If you get injured or die too much, you'll get scars and stuff.
Maybe they can talk to Monolith about the Nemesis system and implementing aspects of that into Fable. That'd be interesting.
It would be interesting. Okay, moving over to the Reset Era Xbox OT. Number of questions. One from Didact BR HU3. How are the talks going to get guests like Frankie from 343? Episodes where we have guests are the best. Yeah, we love having guests. There's lots of stuff going on at the moment, trying to get people coming in. And just the best I can say right now, because I don't want to speak for those people, is watch this space. We will have guests back on sooner than you might think. So we're especially trying to get Thomas back on now that Ori's about to come out. We're trying to get Thomas back on, but he did give us a proviso for him coming back on. He said, you guys have to have beaten the game before I come back. Yeah, so we have to finish the game.
So I should have finished the game quite soon, but these two might not have.
I'll catch up pretty quick.
It's nowhere near my 2 playlists, so.
What? You've not played the first one, have you?
No.
Kairo has no taste confirmed.
So we'll be doing an episode with just Thomas and the two of us, and Kairo will not be on that episode because I'm not waiting 2 years to have Thomas back on the podcast again.
Yeah.
So
2 years? What?
You haven't even played the first Ori. You haven't even played the first one.
First one's been out 5 years. How have you not played it yet?
Yeah, okay, yeah, but you're saying the way you said that made it imply that this podcast has been around for 2 years and we waited that long for Thomas to be back on.
Oh, no.
No. I'm saying I don't want to wait 2 years for Thomas to be on now.
Wow.
What else have we got?
You're going to have to wait.
We've got John Oh No. Not really a question, but something to have a conversation on regarding Halo Infinite and their flighting, i.e. beta testing, etc. Do we think it's possible that Series X could be part of a test flight by utilizing xCloud? For example, the Xbox One version could be a standard beta download for Xbox One consoles, but to test that cross-platform functionality, you could use xCloud running Series X blades, could double as a test for improving xCloud and Series X network performance. Would be interesting. Quick answer to this one is for the foreseeable future, I would not expect, certainly within a year, to see any Series E, S, Series X hardware as part of xCloud later. They've only just put in all of the expensive blades from the Xbox One S in Azure data centers, so I don't think that will be utilized. Regarding Halo Infinite and flighting, they've said publicly we'll never not have a beta, so I guess we just have to wait and see if that's accurate or not. But yeah, so I don't think there's much more we can say on that unless you guys have an opinion.
No.
Cool.
I don't know.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to play around on xCloud via Series X, but even if the series of Xboxes comes to xCloud, it won't be the top end. It won't be Series X that will go on xCloud server blades. It will.
They
be
won't be putting.
Version.
Yeah, the blades in xCloud will be Lockhart blades. They're not going to be Series X blades. I
personally think, and I think I've said this last podcast, I think that's another reason for it existing, is because of manufacturing cost and process. If they could do a cheaper version that ticks 2 boxes, very cool.
Yep.
We've got one here from Skidaddle, who was speaking about a chap from Treyarch called Jason Blundell. Spent 13 years working on Treyarch, became co-studio head of Treyarch alongside Dan Bunting and Mark Gordon. Treyarch announced on February 28th this year that he was leaving the studio. Do we think he'd be a good fit for Xbox Game Studios? You know, maybe as a new head of the Coalition or working at the Initiative. Yeah. Microsoft are always keen for talent, but I think we're never going to know about those things until they get announced. But good people are good people, right?
I mean, he's worked on Call of Duty, so would he be better off at 343?
Yeah, from a shooter perspective, I don't want any more Call of Duty in my Halos, though. So
no, but no, I understand that, but I mean, he could still bring a certain perspective to modes. He could still bring a certain perspective to, I don't know, how it feels. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Call of Duty has, for example, I don't see why someone of his expertise couldn't help 343 maybe with the optimization of their engine. Yeah. You know, Call of Duty games have always been 60, and with each passing game, they seem to do more and more and more and maintain that 60 frames. So, you know, his expertise in that area could be invaluable. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know enough about what he did.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Zedox has asked, or if I was getting my British moniker on, Zedox. What do we think the launch game... can I speak properly? What do we think the launch games are for Xbox coming later this year? So... I'm glad he asked that question, because we were talking about this earlier, and I was asked by someone for us to discuss what we believe the launch games will be for Series X and for PS5 as well. Yeah. Someone I know happens to know the PS5 launch lineup, and they want to see if we can guess any of them right. Okay.
They wouldn't tell me what the lineup is, but they want to have a bit of a laugh at us getting it horribly wrong, I assume.
Okay.
Well,
Xbox.
So we'll start. I guess. Yeah, we'll start with Series X with Xbox. Yeah.
What?
Halo.
We
know Halo. Forza is going to come in some fashion. Most likely Forza Motorsport 8.
Yeah.
Here's the curveball. Everwild.
Mm-hmm.
I think Everwild's going to be a launch title. Myself.
Yep. I think we'll have a surprise release from Double Fine, like a little game, little supporting arcade style game.
Yeah.
Killer Instinct 2.
Sorry?
Killer Instinct 2. I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's happening either, and it's a shame.
It should happen.
But I don't think it's happening.
No.
I don't know.
Cool. What
else?
I
don't know what else.
There's going to be a exclusive from Global Publishing that we don't know exists and that will surprise
like a
us.
Rise or a Dead Rising, something like that.
Something like
that. Like a third party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So a third party making a game exclusively for Xbox, like Rise.
Yeah. I don't know what it would be.
Yeah. Maybe they might get one. Surely they've been working on something, for God's sake.
Here's an interesting question. Will the Cyberpunk 2077 Series X version be the only next-gen upgraded version for launch?
Well, it depends. We don't know 100% if Sony's doing a smart delivery type thing, or do we? Have they said anything? Maybe they have.
One of the admin on Reset Era said that Sony have their own version of smart delivery.
Okay, well then, if that's the case, then maybe Cyberpunk will get that too. I don't know.
Who knows?
Unless Microsoft, we've entered a new realm of exclusive money hatting, and Microsoft has money hatted a next generation upgrade. I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
On the PS5 side, do we have any ideas, guys? I mean, we've heard rumors, I think, of Demon Souls. Everyone keeps going on about the Demon Souls remaster.
Yeah, whatever Blue Point. Is it Blue Point? Whatever they're remastering.
Again,
you know what?
Rumored.
Let's just go pipe dreams here. So, Dragon's Dogma 2. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Crap! I had it on the back of my tongue, but now I can't say it because it was a joke. God damn it!
I think we'll get obviously an upgrade, a more official upgrade to The Last of Us 2. And
you mean like maybe a 4K 60, 4K, even 120 probably?
I think there'll be like a smart delivery / official upgrade for Last of Us 2. But I think I reckon what they might do to differentiate it and give it that
encourage that double dipping.
Not even that. Like, to give it that new release smell, I reckon they will make the multiplayer for The Last of Us 2 exclusive to the PlayStation 5.
Wow. That'd be a dick move.
As a way to get people on the PS5 version. Like, remember, there's 110 million PS4s out there, right? Most logical people will say, well, okay, I'll just grab it on PS4 and it's fine. Like, it looks fantastic. So they're like, okay, the PS5 is going to be a tiny install base, not going to be able to sell as many copies on PS5. How do we get people to grab it on PS5 instead of PS4? Multiplayer. What if we make the multiplayer exclusive to the PlayStation 5?
Yeah, that's assuming enough people care about the multiplayer to buy the PS5 version of the game.
But that's what I mean. Like, if they release the multiplayer and put that on PS4 as well, then there's literally no reason outside of slightly prettier graphics to go with the PS5 version. Where if you make the multiplayer exclusive to the PlayStation 5, you're giving a genuine carrot to get people across. So it's like, hey,
then you have to explain to the angry rabid gamers on the internet why the hell the multiplayer is exclusive to PlayStation 5 when it could easily run on the PlayStation 4.
I mean, dude, they're going to be putting all their games on PC. They're going to have to be doing a lot of explaining to the angry freaking fanboys on forums, man. Like, The Last of Us multiplayer is the least of their problems.
Oh.
But, I mean, that's just what I think. I don't know if they'll do it because, I don't know. To me, I don't see, outside of prettier graphics. And remember, Last of Us 2 already looks incredible on base PS4.
Yeah.
Like, so, to me, I don't know if the 4K 60 is enough.
Yeah.
Where if you add the multiplayer as well, it's like, oh, hold on a second. Not only do we have that visual upgrade, I've also got a whole extra mode that I can get here.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
I don't know.
Outside of that, course, I have no idea for Sony.
Gran Turismo 7?
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean,
Polyphony Digital, they're not the speediest of studios.
No, I know, but they're also recently, since basically 5 onwards, they also sort of, not cut corners, but like Gran Turismo 6 was basically Gran Turismo 5 with a bunch of extra PS2 modelled cars or something.
Yeah.
And then there was Sport. I wouldn't be surprised if they just build on Sport.
Yeah.
And then call it 7, just to have something there for launch.
It's the development of Sport was slowing down.
I mean, what's Japan studio been working on? Surely, I mean, I'm playing Gravity Rush 2 at the moment. And it's a pretty cool game. But has Japan studio done anything in a while? Surely they'll have something for launch. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Gravity
I don't know
Rush
enough
3.
about Sony to predict any kind of launch titles. I have to admit.
Hey, I mean, I was told that Gravity Rush 2 may be a PC game in the future. Maybe they're doing that to test the waters and get people hyped up for a Gravity Rush 3 announcement. Who knows?
Who knows? Interesting.
But they're my guesses.
Yeah.
So if my friend is watching, feel free to laugh because we probably got it all wrong.
Yeah. And I think the last question from... Well, I did have a joke question from Sukia because he knew I'd been travelling. He said, how jet-lagged are you? Quite jet-lagged. Last question from HBC_XL. If Sony ends up with the power advantage and 2 SKUs... Where would that put Microsoft's strategy? The consensus around this, the main Xbox thread on ResetEra was that a most powerful and most affordable would give Microsoft the edge. Will it come down to services? Do we think that will be enough? So I guess what they're asking is, if Sony are doing the exact same thing that Microsoft are rumored to be doing, one super powerful, one super affordable, you know, that edge is gone. Will it come down to services and games? And I think it doesn't come down to services. It just comes down to games. At that
Real
point.
talk. If Sony does have the power crown, or if Sony does have a 2 SKU strategy with a weak and a stronger and all that, Microsoft probably just needs to pack it up. Honestly, just pack it up. Because especially if somehow they like what. The problem is, and I don't know if we've spoken about this before, Microsoft picked the wrong generation to stuff up in. Yep. They really, really got that wrong. Like, this was the generation where the digital ecosystems were established. And the momentum is a very hard thing to arrest. So it takes something monumental to turn momentum. We've seen it twice before. So the PS2 was unstoppable. And it took $5.99, shoved Blu-ray down your throat. It took a big, a year later, it took a lot of outrageous stuff to halt that momentum. Then the 360 had all the momentum. Then what happened? Xbox One happened. TV Sports, TV Connect. Like, it takes something extreme to arrest momentum. So that's why I've said all along, and people laugh at me, Microsoft has to get really aggressive with their pricing, and they also have to have the free multiplayer. They need something big if they're going to arrest momentum. If Sony,
with what you've said.
Yeah, they need, it needs to be big. Like, I don't think people really comprehend. Like, look at like I said, look at the examples I just gave. It's taken something almost unthought of or unheard of to arrest the momentum from a previous generation. Look at the Wii. I mean, we look at the Wii now, motion gaming, whatever, but that was huge. Like, that was so utterly different and disruptive that it was just out of this world at the time. Like, that's what it takes to arrest momentum or create momentum. So if Sony has the power crown, or if they're close enough, and if they've got a 2 SKU strategy, then unless Microsoft has something up their sleeve that no one knows about, they should just pack it up. Honestly, they should just pack it up. But yeah,
there you go. Things getting real talk here on the
that's my 2 cents.
I don't think they'll ever pack it up. I think that they'll just.
Oh, they won't. I'm just saying they'll pack it up.
They'll just focus. I know that the big hoo-ha is always about, Sony sold X, Microsoft sold Y, and I think it's 106 million versus 50-something million. Yeah, something like that. But it's still profitable as a business. But it really comes down to, and I think this is where they're exuding confidence. They know what they want to do for gaming. Before it was, there was a lot of, especially the 360 gen, there was a lot of money hatting, there was a lot of exclusivity nonsense, and all of that has gone away, and not in part because they were in second place and had got a very bloody nose, but because I think that they've also got now with Phil, they've got a guy that actually likes to play games compared to perhaps someone else in that position. He's online playing those games with his pals and with the communities and gets it, and that gives me some confidence in that whatever they do, it will be the right thing more or less for us from either it's an accessibility, it's a price, it's availability, it's all of those things working in unison. But yeah, I agree with you that it's got to be, in order to arrest that momentum and really change how people talk about Xbox as a brand, it needs to be, they need to be so aggressive that we're almost like, what? And I look forward to those kind of moments coming. I think we're going to see some of them. I know some of them will. Anyway,
Cairo,
any ideas? Any thoughts on that?
I mean, not anything different from what you guys have said. So, I mean, I don't think they'll give up. I don't think they should. I think it'll literally just, the thing that'll draw people in are the games. And it's always been that way, even when a Power Crown was shared.
Has it though? Has it always been that way?
I think it's about.
See,
I think.
I mean,
so the Wii was a novel idea in and of itself, but it would have gone nowhere if Wii Sports hadn't been the thing that convinced people that it was great. It's just the game.
Okay, but Sony has traditionally had really anemic launch lineups, yet it hasn't stopped their consoles from selling at launch. The Dreamcast, it's pretty hard to argue it didn't have a much better launch lineup than the PS2. 360, great launch lineup. I'd even argue the Xbox One had a better launch lineup than the PS4.
It did.
I don't know. People keep saying games. I don't think it always is games. I think games are one part of a much bigger picture as to why consoles start well. I think games help more. Help more along the way.
Console generations aren't just the start of them, though. That's the thing.
They're the tone is generally set. The tone is generally set at the start.
Not even
generally.
The tone at the beginning of this generation for Xbox was abysmal, but by the halfway mark, the tone from Xbox had completely changed.
But the after effects of that tone carried on right through till now.
That's right.
Yes, we know.
Sure.
And I think that's
okay. A better example would be halfway through the 7th generation with the PS3. The Sony's marketing message from the launch up until 5 years in was absolutely dreadful. It wasn't until they changed their marketing and changed the way they were branding themselves and started releasing blockbuster after blockbuster that the momentum really started to shift. And that generation ended up with two consoles basically equalized. 80 and 85 and 85.
But even that went deeper. The 360's success is, people forget that until Kinect came along, the 360 hadn't sold that much. It was actually, it's funny, for all the shit Don Matrick gets, he was the one that got the 360 to that 85 number. And don't forget that for everything that happened with the PlayStation 3 at the start, in the end, Sony still has a global presence that Microsoft doesn't. Yeah. They sell in Japan, Microsoft doesn't. They sell in Europe, Microsoft doesn't. So them catching up was kind of inevitable. But in the end, they still went from 150 down to 85.
Yeah.
But again, they were catching up before Last of Us came out in 2013. Last of Us came out last year of the PS3's life. Uncharted didn't get big until the second one, which was 2009. The first Uncharted didn't do a hell of a lot, even though that's my favourite Uncharted. Didn't do a hell of a lot. That was a bit of a unique story. I just think the whole games argument is a little bit overstated.
Yeah. It'll be just fun to see. That's all we can do. I mean, I don't care. I just like playing games. The sales stuff, and I think that's another element of it. There's this huge tribal mentality. My mega corporation's doing better financially than your mega corporation. It's just like, who gives a crap? But yeah, whatever. We'll have to wait and see. One thing I did think of, Godfall is a PlayStation 5 exclusive launch game.
Oh yeah, we forgot about Godfall. I don't think anyone cares about Godfall. That's probably why I forgot about it. I think it's only a timed exclusive.
Yeah, probably.
And I've got a funny feeling that's not the only money hat we're going to see from Sony in particular, and even Microsoft.
Yep.
I think there's going to be a lot of money hats coming over the next 12 months or so.
All of the hats.
Going to be a lot of hats filled with money.
But
a lot of them.
Speaking of games that are coming out in 2020,
yep.
You did a top 5.
I did.
Centered
and
around
I think it might be my last one for a little while. I think I'm just going to ease up on the top 5s now, and save them put a bit more gap between them. So I thought I'll end for now on my top 5 most anticipated games for 2020, because there hasn't really been any major releases yet, I don't think, unless I'm mistaken. I don't think there has been. So
Starts with Ori this week, so...
Yeah, that's right. So I thought I'll get the anticipated out of the way before they all start dropping. Number 5 is Cyberpunk. I know everyone's excited about that, but I've never played a Witcher game, and I'm not normally into RPGs, but I do love the Cyberpunk setting, and everything we've seen of it so far does look awesome. It feels like it's a world I could get lost in.
Yeah. It's interesting because
it looks cool.
I normally steer away from RPGs because I don't have the time, and I know the feedback when everyone, like your standard RPG fans, saw it was first person, were like, ah! But that made me lean into it more because it's a little bit more accessible for me. I can shoot stuff, and in those kind of RPGs, admittedly, what's the soldier type? Everything in combat, dumb. And I'll just play it like a shooter, and that's fine if that's how I want to experience the game. So I understand the trepidation from other parties out there that like want that more nuanced, want that third person
over the shoulder.
Sad cyberpunk dad. His son got too many implants and turned into a robot. I don't know. But yeah, I agree. I'm surprised. I would have said that for the majority of people out there, from a non-exclusive point of view, that would probably be a lot of people's number ones. So I'm
Most
intrigued.
people, it is.
I'm intrigued at what your 4 through 1 are.
Yeah. But no, Cyberpunk's definitely going to wait on the Series X. Like almost every game here, I will be waiting on Next Gen 4. But it looks like they're also coming out for Next Gen. So number 4. We were talking about it before. Last of Us Part 2. I did really like the first game a lot. Yeah, it's not perfect, and it has its little quirks and it has its little flaws. But it was still a great game. And the second one looks to ramp everything up. The visuals, the brutality, the gameplay. Like, I don't know if you've seen those videos of the gun upgrades.
Yeah.
And Ellie has like the gun on the table. She takes it apart. It looks really, really cool. Like it looks like it Naughty Dog's taking everything up a notch. It looks really, really good, Last of Us. And I want to get it for PS5 because I'll probably have the exclusive multiplayer there. But
yeah.
Either way, I'm waiting on
Last of Us. I should probably, if anyone wants
it's
to
a good game.
If someone wants to buy me a PlayStation, I'll give it a go.
It is a legitimately great game. But I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna play it in May. I will wait the 6 months, and I will play it in November or whenever the hell the PS5 comes out.
Yeah. Cool.
Number 3. I've been anticipating it, and now I'm playing it. Ori and the Will of the Wisps was my number 3. So
I think it's funny. You wrote and published this article, and then you got the code like later.
And then got the game like a few hours later. There's not much to say.
You're not allowed
I've had Ori and the Blind Forest in a couple of my top 5s. I love the game, and we've had Thomas on the podcast. We were all looking very much forward to Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and I'm playing it. So yeah, That's just the weird timing.
I'm jelly.
There's not much else to say there.
I'm jelly.
And I'm not allowed to really say anything about what I'm playing, not for a few more days. Number 2, Halo Infinite. I'm sure most people probably thought that would be number 1.
It's my number 1.
But, we've spoken at length about Halo. I've spoken about how bullish I am on Infinite being a good game because from the outside looking in, from the moment I beat Halo 5 on Legendary and saw that Halo ring, I'm like, they need to go back to a Halo ring. They have to. Just, throw back to CE. Include as much CE as you can into this new Halo game. And it looks like they're doing stuff like that. So I'm very excited about it. Number 1. Now, this should not be a surprise when people hear it. And the game I'm looking forward to the most this year is Streets of Rage 4.
Really?
I've waited 16 years for this game.
It's been 16 years.
We've been teased. Ruffian, the developers of Crackdown 2, they even made a prototype 3D Streets of Rage game. Yep. Wow. There's been Streets of Rage fan remakes. There's a game on Steam that I bought because it reminded me so much of Streets of Rage called The Takedown. Yeah. It's actually a really good game made by Pelican 13, a young Greek man. I love my scrolling beat 'em ups, and Streets of Rage is my favorite. So I am absolutely hanging for Streets of Rage 4.
You're pumped. When is it releasing? It's this year.
First half of 2020 is all they've said.
And it's coming to Game Pass.
Best parties straight into Game Pass. Like that is so good. But I'm sure I'll double and potentially triple dip. But yeah, straight into Game Pass, which is awesome. But I could not be more excited about Streets of Rage 4.
What about you, Kairo? Yep. Do you disagree or agree with any of those?
I don't really have an opinion on them. They're not my anticipated games. But,
what are your? I'm curious.
None of them?
None of them?
Nah.
What are yours? Can we have a top? Halo. What's your top 20? Not even Halo.
I mean, I'm just expecting Halo at this point. I'm hoping that it's good. I'm not anticipating it. Okay. Most of the games that I'm anticipating right now are like multiplayer focused. Really?
That's fair.
I mean, Halo's multiplayer focused, but at the same time, in a different kind of way. Something different than what I usually play. And I don't really think Halo Infinite's multiplayer is going to be much different from Halo 5. So, or any other Halo, to be perfectly honest.
Fair enough.
I mean, if I had to actually make a list right now of my top 5, I'd have to say, this is actually tough.
This is actually really 15 minutes to the podcast time. Because Kai's like, what games are coming out?
Well, I mean, I have to.
Come on, bro. I've got Ori to go back to. It's waiting for me. I got to
get it. Okay, hold on. Major game releases.
If you have to Google, you're not anticipating them, bro. Come on, just go.
Well, I mean, other than Valorant and League of Legends Wild Rift, which are both coming out this year, I don't really have any other anticipated games.
So there's nothing you're excited about coming out this year.
Today we learned Kairo is.
I mean, I guess maybe Persona 5 Royal on PlayStation 4, but I mean that's literally just an expanded version of a game I already played. So.
All right. Well, I'm putting Halo Infinite on your list then, because.
No, you're not. You're not putting anything on my list for me.
I'd love it if Metroid was coming out this year.
Valorant, Wild Rift. Oh, actually, Wasteland 3 as well.
Okay.
Because I loved Wasteland 2. And Wasteland 3 has co-op.
Ah.
And I'm really looking forward to playing through that game with a friend.
Yeah, it's always fun to have co-op. I would say from my perspective,
your choices aren't very sexy at all.
Yeah, from my perspective, absolutely Ori, Halo Infinite. If Everwild does launch this year, 100% I'm in. I'm really looking the like. I'm really not on it with my language today. I am liking the look of Grounded, and I know that's a smaller 12 people making it an Obsidian game, But that looks like I could have a lot of fun with some pals on that, just laughing at giant spiders trying to eat us and stuff. And I like the little shared experiences and things like that. And yeah, I think Cyberpunk's got to be on my list as well, just because it's been a long, long while since I've been sucked into any kind of... I think as a series, and I know there's a lot of RPG fans here that would probably say Mass Effect isn't one by the end, but as a series, that was the last big sprawling game that I kind of was just absolutely in love with. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see if Cyberpunk can tickle my fancy in that way. But yeah, it's good. It's a good year for games. No matter what platform you're on, there is some really good stuff coming. And I hope everyone out there enjoys the ride as we roll into the next generation.
You know what? I did forget.
One, but we're going to cut it here. We're gonna
Wow, no. Half-Life Alyx is coming out in 2 weeks.
Yes. I need to sort
of I finally got my VR set working again for my MacBook, and I am ready to play that game. I am so hyped. We're finally freaking getting Half-Life 3, even though it's not 3 in the title there.
Please buy a Quest, Nick.
Oh my God.
I can't wait for this game to suck.
Buy Quest.
It's going to be It's going to be one of the best games ever made, VR exclusive. And then another, you know what? Okay, I just rounded out my entire list. So Medal of Honor VR by Respawn in the summer.
Yeah.
Because that's coming out exclusive to Oculus. Half-Life Alyx, Valorant, League of Legends Wild Rift, and Wasteland 3. Those are my top 5 expected games. Like anticipated
what a horrible list.
I don't know. I've got to give Half-Life Alyx to him. That's going to be fun. Although I'm not looking forward to playing through any kind of Ravenholm section in VR because just nope.
But what I'm still like hype is as much as I'm hyped for Half-Life Alyx. I am like super excited to see Respawn going back to Medal of Honor, like their roots when they were back in Infinity Ward. No, not even Infinity Ward. Before Infinity Ward was bought by Activision, that team did the original Medal of Honor, and
it was good.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
I'm so excited to see like a modern version of that IP because the last one we haven't seen a Medal of Honor game since Warfighter in like 2012. Wow.
I thought you were about to say 20 years. I'm like, man, it hasn't been that long.
No, it's been like since 2012, I think. Because 2010 was Modern Warfare, was Medal of Honor, like the modern version. And then 2012, I think, was Medal of Honor Warfighter. And Warfighter killed the franchise for almost 8 years.
Yep.
So, like, skipped an entire generation of consoles. But we'll see.
We'll see.
All right.
See. Okay, so... shorter than usual, which is a triumph, I think, considering there's always so much to talk about. But who knows? We might add on a half hour as we go on through this week.
I'm sure we'll be doing an emergency episode during the week.
If the Series S drops, or Series E, or whatever it's going to be called, when we find out what Lockhart is, we'll be back and we'll talk about it. So make sure you... and I'll get my YouTube voice on. Hit that like and subscribe button. Ring the bell. Follow us on Twitter. All of that jazz. And we will see you next time.
Ciao for now.
Adios.
Take care.